Thank you. So here, okay, let us offer our respects to the Lord's Bhakti, and its mercy resides within the Jnana and other process to a small degree in order to bring about success in those processes. In the last 6 chapters of the Gita, Jnana mixed with Bhakti is delineated. delineated. Within these 6 chapters, Kevala Bhakti also is shown indirectly to be to be supreme. The 13th chapter, the body with Jiva and Paramatma reside. The practice of Jnana, the Jiva and the Prakriti are described like. And in the middle 6 chapters, it was mentioned that by Kevala Bhakti, one attains the Lord, Bhagavan. The three other methods of worship, starting with the worship of oneself, were then described. And liberation arising from jnana mixed with bhakti, practiced by followers of Nishkama Karma Yogas, and the process of jnana were briefly described in the first 6 chapters. And the third 6 chapters, from 13th to till 18th, this jnana is a detail of, like, by first examining the field, the knower of the field, the process of knowledge, and the object of knowledge. So then you see in the second verse, it says that Arjuna is asking Krishna, and Krishna is replying, Idam shariram kaunteya kshetram iti abhidhiyate etadyo vetitam prahu kshetrajna iti tadvidhi vida. Sorry. Usanapunti. The body is called the field. Idam shariram kshetram iti abhidhyate. Those in knowledge, tadvida, call the person who knows this field, etat yo vetitam para, prahu, the knower of the field, kshetrajna iti. And if you see this, Prabhupada clearly explains. Yeah. And here we can understand that the knowledge in the first verse, we like a desire to know about Prakriti Purusha, the field and the knower of the field, as well as the process of knowledge and object of the knowledge. And second verse, it says that the precise nature of the jiva, Lord and matter, which were discussed in the previous 6 chapters we already discussed, will be further explained in the last 6 chapters. Jnana serves as the door to bhakti, which was just taught in the 13th chapter. The Lord will speak detailed knowledge of the body, the jiva, and the Lord. Okay, there is a one quotation from Srila Prabhupada from Srimad Bhagavatam says that Grame chara ekam aranyavasa kam hamsa ya ekam bahu rupam ijhay mayamayam veda saveda vedam. And those lusty after material enjoyment and dedicated to family life enjoy one of the tree's fruits, and swan like men in the renounced order of life enjoy the other fruit. We know that Paramahamsas we like, what Hamsa does, swan does. And Srila Prabhupada says that he expected all his Grasta disciples and Grasta follows to be a Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa, what Hamsa means, swan does, when you mix with milk and water, it only takes milk. And Prabhupada, he was telling in that context, whoever whoever is practicing bhakti, so they should try, they should avoid the material enjoyment. Okay. So what is required for bhakti that we should take, and remaining thing we should actually not give in focus. And one who with the help of the bona fide spiritual master can understand this tree to be manifest of the potency of the one supreme truth appearing in many forms actually knows the meaning of the Vedic literature. Thus, those who think that the body is the self are not knowers of the field, since they do not know that the real nature and function of the body. Like this verse answers the question, what is the field and who is the knower of the field? And this body with the senses, the abode of enjoyment is the field, since it is the basis for sprouting the tree of repeated births. And he who knows that body in terms of I and mind in the conditioned state due to his attachment to the body, and he who being devoid of the conception of I and mind in the liberated state knows that he is not attached to the body. I mean that body. Whoever is knowing the truth is the Jeev. And he is called the knower of the field, situated in these two conditions, like one who plows the field is the knower of the field and is the enjoyer of the field. The Lord says that Adhanti chaikam phalam ashar gridra grame charayekam aranyavas hamsa yayekam bahurupam ishair mayamayam vedasa vedam. We just discussed, right? So it meaning is that it says that Gradha means those who desire, and like Grad in Sanskrit words is a Gradha. In Telugu, in different languages we say Gradha. Gradha means the vulture. Those who have desire and who move in society, the conditioned jivas eat one fruit of the tree called distress, because the tree has the ability to generate distress even with its ripened fruits of swarga. The swans which live in the forest, the liberated jivas, eat another fruit called happiness, because the tree has the ability to generate happiness in the form of liberation. Makes sense. I think it's clear. And thus, the one who, one tree of samsara has many forms, since it has the capacity to let one attain hell, swarga, and liberation. It is called Maya Mayam, made of Maya, because it is generated from the Lord's Maya Shakti. He who knows this tree with the help of the worshipable gurus is here, knows the Vedas. Third Veda in the Gita was refers to the persons who knows the field and the knower of the field. And the precise natures of the jiva, the Lord and matter, which were discussed in the previous chapters, will be further explained in the last 6 chapters, like we already discussed. Even Prabhupada says in this first and second verse in the last, in the purport about this. Jnana serves as the door to bhakti, which was just taught. In the 13th chapter, the Lord will speak detailed knowledge of the body, the jiva, and the Lord. The first 6 chapters describe knowledge of the Jivatma, which is attained through Nishkama Karma Yoga, and which is useful to attain knowledge of Paramatma. In the second 6 chapters, worships of the Paramatma called Bhakti, was taught along with a description of the Lord's powers. Only pure bhakti, however, brings the Lord under control and lets one attain the Lord. This worship of Paramatma destroys the suffering of those worshippers desiring relief from distress, wealth, or knowledge. By associating with the exclusive devotees, such mixed devotees become pure, and the pure bhakti allows them to attain the Lord, the supreme abode, the goal of the life. When the bhakti process is mixed with jnana or yoga, one attains perception of the majestic form of the Lord, and this yields liberation. This has already been described. Now, in the last 6 chapters, the universe caused by the combination of Prakriti and Purusha, the forms of the Lord, and the essential natures of karma, bhakti, and jnana will be explained. In order to clarify jnana, in the 13th chapter, the real natures of the body, the jiva, the supreme Lord will be delineated. And from second verse to till seventh verse, it explains about kshetra, kshetrajna, like body and field of the body. This knower of the field. These things will be explained like in further verses. If you go till seventh verse, we'll understand more. So, in order to clarify jnana in the 13th chapter, the real nature, the body, the jiva, the supreme Lord will be delineated. The cause of liberation and like cause of relation of the body with the jiva, who is distinct from this body, I mean his body. The jiva, the supreme Lord, will delineate it. Because of the relation of the body with the jiva, who is distinct from this body, and method of making the distinction will be considered. The Lord begins to speak in order to explain these things. O son of Kunti, the wise call this body along with its senses and prana, the field, because it causes growth of experiences of happiness and distress for the jiva, the enjoyer. Who is the enjoyer? The jiva. And those who know Tadvida, the real nature of the field, and the knower of the field, define the knower of the field, who is knower different from the body, which it knows, as a person who, while sleeping, eating, performing other activities, knows that this body is not the Atma, though it is perceived by the ignorant as themselves as Deva, man, or object, and knows that the body is the means of both enjoyment and liberation for the Atma. And again, like last, you remember that verse we discussed, Bhagavatam, like those lusty after material enjoyment and dedicated to the family life enjoy one of the tree's fruits, and swarm like men in the renounced order of life enjoy the other fruit. So those who think that the body is the self are not knowers of the field, since they do not know the real nature and function of the body. That's what Prabhupada says, that Arjuna was inquisitive about to know about Prakriti, the nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, Kshetra, the field, Kshetrajna, its knower, and knowledge and the object of knowledge. When he inquired about all this, Krishna said that this body is called the field, And that one who knows this body is called the knower of the field. This body is field of activity for the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul is entrapped in material existence and the attempts to lord it over material nature. And so, according to his capacity to dominate material nature, he gets a field of activity. That field of activity is the body. And what is the body? The body is made of senses. The conditioned soul wants to enjoy sense gratification, and according to his capacity to enjoy sense gratification, he is offered a body or field of activity. Therefore, the body is called kshetra, or the field of activity for conditioned soul. Now, the person who should not identify himself with the body is called kshetrajna, the knower of the field. It is not very difficult to understand the difference between the field and its knower, the body and the knower of the body. Any person can consider that from childhood to old age, he undergoes so many changes of the body, and yet he is still one person remaining. Thus, there is a difference between the knower of the field of activities and the actual field of activities. A living condition soul can thus understand that he is different from the body. It is described in the beginning. They he knows mean that the living entity is within the body and that the body is changing from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth, then from youth to old age. And the person who like owns the body, knows that the body is changing. The owner is distinctly is Chaitanya. Sometimes we think like I'm happy, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a dog, I'm a cat, I'm a rich, I'm a poor, like I'm a sadhu, I'm the most happiest person. I know how to be happy. But these are the bodily designations of the knower. Like we have to understand that. But the knower is different from the body. Although we may use many articles, our clothes, like to cover this body, etc., we know that we are different from the things we use. Similarly, we also understand by a little contemplation that we are different from the body. I or you or anyone else who owns the body is called Kshetrajna, the knower of the field of activities, and the body is called Kshetra, the field of activities itself. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad-gītā, the knower of the body, the living entity, and the position by which he can understand the Supreme Lord are described. In the middle 6 chapters, again, like Supreme Personality of Godhead and the relationship between the individual soul and the super soul in regard to devotional service are described. Last, like not 12th chapter, we discussed about devotional service. And the superior position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the subordinate position of the individual soul are differently and definitely like defined in these chapters. The living entities are subordinate under all circumstances, but in their forgetfulness they are suffering. When enlightened by pious activities, they approach the Supreme Lord in a different capacities. As the distressed those in want of money, the inquisitive, and those in search of knowledge. That is also described. Now, starting with it, this chapter, how the living entity comes into contact with material nature and how he is delivered by the Supreme Lord through the different methods of cultive activities, cultivation of knowledge, and the discharge of devotional service are explained. Although the living entity is completely different from the material body, he somehow becomes related. So now we go to third verse. like Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata Kshetra jnanam yatta jnanam matam mama, or descendant of Bharata. Know that I also am the knower of the field. Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi. Know all the bodies, sarva kshetreshu, according to me. Mam matam. Knowledge means tadjnanam, knowledge of the field and knowledge of the two types of knower of the field. Yat kshetrajñor jnanam. The Lord has spoken of the jiva as the knower of the field. Since he has knowledge about the body, now the Lord says that Paramatma is also the knower of the field. O Bharata, know that I alone am the knower of the field in all fields, like bodies. The word api indicates exclusively cha. Cha means api. You know, we have Bhagavad-gītā with you. The jiva knows and know their own individual bodies as means of enjoyment and liberation, as citizens know the field they own and cultivate. But I alone, the Lord of all, know all these fields, bodies, which must be supported by me for their very existence. Thus I am the knower of all fields like a king. Smriti states that Kshetrani hi sharirani bhijam chapi subhashubhe thani veti yogatma that kshetrajna uchyate. Being the Lord of all the fields is the knower of all the fields. The Supreme Lord, Yogatma knows these bodies as fields and as the source of piety and sin. He is called the knower of the fields from Mahabharata. And I have a question for you all. What is knowledge? Like, okay. I consider knowledge to be the ability to distinguish between the two knowers of the field, the Jiva and the Lord. And relation of these two with the field, Prakriti or the body, what is the other than this? I consider ignorance. The following, like, can understand that through Prakriti, Jiva, and the Lord combined together, there is no mixture of their respective qualities as the enjoyer and the controller, as would happen in a dyed cloth. This cloth is a white cloth. I mixed color in the water. Okay. Then I dyed it, made it become saffron. So then I know what color I want exactly. I want full reddish or pinkish or mixed with a little yellow or like shades of the color. Then based upon my desire, so I know how much quantity each color, two colors, red and yellow. So I have to add. So actually, this knowledge I got from my seniors. Okay. So Prakriti, Jiva, and the Lord combined together, there is no mixture of their respective qualities as the enjoyed, the enjoyer, and the controller. Okay. There's the right, or like writer of Vedanta says that Natu drasnana bhavat. The Lord is not tainted by the material world, as there are examples showing in this, like Vedanta Sutra says 2.9. The Shruti also speaks the distinction of qualities between the items. Pratak Atmanam Preritaram Chamatva Justas Tatastenam Pratam Ethi. Knowing himself to be different from me, like from he who inspires actions, invoking the pleasure of the Lord, that person attains liberation. And it mentions, like Prabhupada says, that in different Upanishads it mentions Nyachau Dhvachau Ishanishanau Ajehi Eka Bhogartha Yukta. One is omniscient, the other ignorant. Omniscient is Krishna, the ignorant is Jiva. One is the controller, the other is controlled. Both are without birth. The unborn Prakriti is associated with Jiva for his enjoyment. Svetasvatara Upanishad says. Sorry, 1 second. There some message. Sorry for that. It's a bit important. Doctor is asking him. Okay, one is omniscient, the other is ignorant. One is the controller, the other one is controlled. Both are without birth. The unborn Prakriti is associated with the Jiva or is enjoyment. Okay, here we see that Sharam Pradhanam Amrutaksharam Hara Sharatmana Isate Ishate Deva Ekha. The Pradhana is mutable, the Jiva, the Hara, the taker of Prakriti, is immutable. Being eternal, the one Lord controls the Pradhana and the Jiva. Bhokta Bhogyam Preritaram Chamatva Sarvam Proktam Trividam Brahmam Ethat. This Brahman has been described as three: the enjoyer, the object of enjoyment, and the inspirer. Again, it's from Svetasvatara Upanishad. Ajam yekam lohita shukla krishnam bhavihi prajasrajamnam sarupa ajohi eko jushmano anjusedeti jahatenam bhukta bhogam ajonyah. The unborn is situated with the one unborn Prakriti, which is red, white, and black, and which produces many entities of similar form. When Jiva enjoys and associates closely with those forms, while another Jiva, having enjoyed, gives up those objects of enjoyment. And Pradhana Kshetrajna Patir Guneshaha is the master of matter and Jiva endowed with all good qualities. And like now, which I mentioned, these verses from Svetasvatara Upanishads. So from these verses, it should understood that should be understood that the Lord maintains a distinction from matter and jiva, kshetra and kshetrajna, indicated by the words kshara and akshara, kshara and akshara. Even though he associates with them, as we as will be shown by verses like Dvau Imau Purusha, Bhagavad-gītā 15th chapter, it's like we had to go. The real knowledge means understanding the separate existence of the Lord, Jiva and Prakriti, though they mix together. Those who advocate existence of only one Atma, such as Sankara, make the following claim. Taking the identity of knower of the field previously defined as the Jiva with the Lord by grammatical identity of case, Kshetrajnam Mam. Know that the knower of the field, Jiva, is I. Say like that when the Lord says, know that I am the knower of all fields, it means know that I am the Jiva. The Jiva and the Lord are the same. Even the Supreme Lord, by ignorance, takes himself to be a knower of the field. A Jiva, just as a person in error takes a rope to be a snake. Prabhupada mentioned this in the purport, the analogy. And in order to dispel that illusion of being more Jiva, the statement of oneness is made by the Lord, the highest authority of truth. By the statement, I am Supreme Brahman, I am the Jiva. The error of thinking himself to be an individual Jiva, different from other Jivas and the Lord, is destroyed just as illusion of a snake is destroyed by saying this rope is not snake. And that argument is rejected because of the impossibility of teaching anything in this way. If the Lord is in ignorance, how can he teach? If he is beyond duality, then he has no other object to whom he can teach. And one should consult the commentary on the Prabhupada's Dehinosmin Yata Dehi Kaumaram Yabbanam Yara Tapadeha Tarprapti Dhiras Tatranamudhyate. And in this manner, another interpretation is apt. The word cha indicates all fields. Cha means api. Know that I alone am the field as a whole and knower of the field in all bodies. Know that the field and knower of the field are not different from me, since I pervade everything and everything is dependent on me for its manifestation and continued existence. I consider knowledge as knowing me to be the field and knower of the field, as I am one with them by maintaining and pervading them both. This I consider knowledge. Other ideas are not. Like Srila Prabhupada is discussing the subject of the body and the knower of the body, the soul and the super soul. We shall find three different topics of study: the Lord, the living entity, and matter. In every field of activities, in every body, there are two souls, the individual soul and the super soul, Atma and Paramatma. Because the super soul is the plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna says, I am also the knower, but I am not the individual knower of the body, I am the super knower. Because if a person, a particular I am there, I know about only my body, I don't know about others' body. But the knower I am, but the supreme knower is a Krishna, and the super knower is Paramatma. He knows not only his body, he knows other bodies as well. Okay. This is controller. we are controlled by controller. So I am present in every body as the Paramatma, a super soul, Krishna says in this verses. And one who studies the subject matter of the field of activity and the knower of the field very minutely in terms of this Bhagavad-gītā can attain to knowledge. The Lord says, I am the knower of the field of activities in every individual body. The individual may be the knower of his own body, but he is not in knowledge of other bodies. That's what we have to understand. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present as the super soul in all bodies, knows everything about all bodies. He knows all the different bodies of all the various species of life. When he knows about tree, a citizen may know everything about his patch of land, but the king knows not only his place, but all the properties possessed by the individual citizens. Srila Prabhupada is given one more knowledge. Similarly, one may be the proprietor of the body individually, but the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of all bodies. The king is the original proprietor of the kingdom, and the citizen is the secondary proprietor. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the supreme proprietor of all the bodies. The body consists of the senses. The Supreme Lord is like the senses is controlled by Krishna. Actually, we say Rishikesha, who is which means the controller of the senses, is the original control of the senses, just as the king is the original control of all the living, I mean, all the activities of the state. The citizens are secondary controllers. And Lord says, I am also the knower. That means he is a super knower. The individual soul knows only his particular body. Krishna knows everything. And Vedic literature says that Kshetrani hi sharirani bijam chapi shubha shubhe tani vetti sa yogatma tata kshetrajna uchyate. His body is called the Kshetra, and within it dwells the owner of the body and the Supreme Lord, who knows both the body and the owner of the body. Therefore, he is called the knower of all things. I'm exceeding my time. The distinction between the field of activities, the knower of activities, and the supreme knower of activities is described as follows: like perfect knowledge of the constitution of the body, the constitution of the individual soul, and the constitution of the super soul is known in terms of Vedic literature as jnana. That is the opinion of Krishna. To understand both the soul and the super soul as one yet distinct is knowledge. One who does not understand the field of activity and the knower of the activity is not in perfect knowledge, is in ignorance. One has to understand the position of Prakriti, nature, and Purusha, the enjoyer of nature, and the Ishvara, the knower who dominates or controls the nature and the individual soul. One should not confuse the three in their different capacities, and confuse one should not confuse the three in their different capacities. What is that? Nature, Prakriti, position of the Prakriti, and Purusha, the enjoyer of the nature, and Ishvara, the knower who dominates or controls nature and the individual soul. And one should not confuse the painter, the painting, and the easel. This material world, which is the field of activities, is nature, and the enjoyer of nature is the living entity, and above them both is the supreme controller, the personality of Godhead. And it is stated in the in the Svetashvatara Upanishad says both Bhokta bhogyam preritaram chama matva sarvam proktam trividam brahmam etat. There are three Brahman conceptions. Prakriti is Brahman, that's the field of activities, and the Jiva, individual soul, is also Brahman, and is trying to control material nature, and the controller of both of them is also Brahman, but he is the factual controller. So it will also explained in that out of the two knowers, one is fallible and the other is infallible. Again, in detail, we can understand in 15th chapter, fallible and infallible, fallible. One is superior and the other is subordinate. One is one who understands the two knowers of the field to be one and the same contradicts the Supreme Personality of Godhead SPG, who states here very clearly, I am also the knower of the field of activity. And one who misunderstands a rope to be a serpent is not in the knowledge. There are different kinds of bodies and there are different owners of the bodies. Because each individual soul has individual capacity for lording it over material nature, there are different bodies. But the Supreme also is present in them as the controller. The word cha is significant for it, indicates the total number of bodies. That is the opinion, opinion of we can understand. And different acharya says that. Even the Vidyabhushan he says Krishna is Krishna is I mean that's what the word cha indicates, cha p total number of bodies. And Krishna is the supreme present in each and every body apart from the individual soul. And Krishna explicitly says here that real knowledge is to know that the super soul is the controller of both the field of activities and the finite enjoyer. And in further next verse, we can understand. Maybe some tomorrow the devotee will be here telling us he says that Krishna says here for me briefly, Samasena me Vishnu. What is the composition of this field? And Kshetram Daksha. What are its qualities? Yadraksha. What are its transformations? Yat Vikari. From where it originates? Yat Chascha. By what varieties it is known? Yat. Who is the knower? Saha Chayaha. And what are his powers? Yat Prabhavascha. So will be discussed tomorrow. So it is easy to understand when you go through word to word meaning. So then we come to translation. Then you come to purport. Then you will relate easily what's happening. Okay. Vancha kalpaturviyasya kripa sindhubhyev च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की Srila Prabhupada. Any comments, any doubts? Sorry for that, I have exceeded my time. 8 minutes over. Okay, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam to everybody.
Mataji.